Do probiotics really work, or is it just marketing hype to get you to buy more products? Sit your bacteria-laden gut down and get ready for some insight. Today on The Healthy View. I'm Andrea Beeman, and I'm here with my fabulous co-hosts, Lisa Lutan and Michelle Fenninghaus. We are expert health coaches who've collectively helped countless people around the world get happier and healthier while staying sane and having fun. And today we're talking about probiotics. It's estimated that over 100 trillion organisms, microorganisms, representing more than 500 different species, inhabit a normal, healthy human gut. These microorganisms are the bacteria that keep pathogens and other harmful microorganisms in check. They aid digestion and nutrient absorption, and they support our immune function. So what has happened to the human gut that we need to take additional probiotic supplements? What do you got for us, Lisa?
Well, I was a big believer, in probiotics for a long time, and I took them. But I'm just going to kind of tell you where I am right now, because I'm somebody who has SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, which is not really curable in my case, but I'm able to monitor it. And when you have something like SIBO, you have good gut bacteria in the wrong place. And taking the wrong probiotic can just increase that bacteria in the wrong place. So when I realized that, I said, whoa, if I have to be careful taking probiotics, it means that many people probably have to be careful taking probiotics to make sure that they're getting the right types of bacteria, whether it's the prebiotics or the probiotics, because taking the wrong one could just make your condition worse. Now, there's so much information coming out on this all the time. So if you are dealing with something like this, you really want to check with whoever's helping you, your doctor or naturopath or functional doctor with this SIBO, and see what they recommend, because there are some coming out right now that are specifically designed for this situation. Now, on the other hand, for most people, taking probiotics is a good thing. I even see probiotics for dogs out there now, but it doesn't make up for an unhealthy diet. And as with any supplement, you still have to have the healthy diet, and whatever you can get from your foods is going to help you a long way, and for the most part more.
We have a great book. God, what is it called? Belly Buddies or something like that. A friend of mine lent it to me so I could show it to my kids. And my 5-year-old really took to it, because in the back, there's a chart that says, here are the red vegetables and fruits and, foods that feed your buddies, and they call it like the lactobacillica buddy and the bifido buddy, where they have these cute little superhero names for them. And my son loves to go through the checkbox and be like, yeah, I had 2 orange things today, and I had 2 green things, and I had 1 purple thing. So he's really taken to that. So it's true, what you eat is the way I describe it to my kids, it's either going to feed your good bacteria, the good team, we call them the good guys, or if you're eating a lot of cakes and candy, that's going to feed the bad guys. And I have boys, right? So I'm like, there's a battle going on down there, and you have to feed the team that you want to win. Easy as that. So it's very much about the food that you eat. But I think in terms of taking probiotics in pill form, I think of it as an attempt to try to replenish our natural state, the bacteria that we are supposed to have. Now, does it work? There are some very specific strains that have been shown to help with certain conditions. So like science has been able to say, okay, this equals that. And that's a relief to a degree, but this stuff is really new. We don't even know all the different types of bacteria and who should have what and what we're missing and what we used to have. They analyze poop from people around the world. They're trying to put the pieces together, but it's very new. So what you take in a pill, I kind of feel like it's a best guess at what the body might need. Now, I take probiotics. I do. I give them to my kids. But honestly, it's hard to know. Is it working? Is it not working? Is it just a waste of money? Am I just putting money into another, toilet over there? Is other stuff I didn't need to buy and flushing it away? I feel like it's a way to cover your bases, but it's not going to be a magic cure-all for most people. And hopefully, maybe in the next couple of years, maybe in the next 100 years, the science is going to mature so that we can definitively say, okay, like you, Lisa, this is the bacterial strain that you need for XYZ reason. Here's the correct supplement for you to take to solve that problem. But right now, we're just trying to generally, hopefully, repopulate the bacteria that we've wiped out with antibiotics, hand sanitizers, Clorox wipes, being inside all day and never touching the dirt. So it's like a stopgap measure. Anyway, we take it, but I prefer, for my family and for myself and for my clients, I prefer that we get beneficial bacteria into our bodies from an entirely different source. One that costs very little if you make it yourself and can actually taste quite delightful. And that source is fermented food. I'm not talking about like beer. Yes, beer is fermented. Talking about lacto-fermented vegetables primarily. Because like scientists or like the lab techs or whoever's putting together those little pills that they sell to you for $80, they're just guessing, again, what bacterial strains that should go in those pills. But I think nature is much smarter. So when I'm packing a quart of sauerkraut in my kitchen, you know, that's just cabbage. It costs a couple bucks and a little bit of salt. That's all you need. It starts to ferment in the same environment that I live in my house, with the air and the things that's in the house in a jar that was in my cupboard in the same place that I live. And if you tested, I mean, I've never done this experiment, but let's say you tested a batch of sauerkraut made in New York in the winter and compare it to something made in like Rio de Janeiro in the summer, they're going to be very, very different products. But that's not true. The same probiotic brand is the same, no matter where you go. So I prefer to eat lacto-fermented vegetables as my main source of probiotics. They have loads of the healthy bacteria. They also have live enzymes, which are very beneficial for you. And that's where I would go first before you start spending money on pills that may or may not work. And in fact, I've got really easy recipe for the sauerkraut I just mentioned. And for my favorite fermented ginger carrots. So we could put those links in the show notes for anybody who wants to try it out themselves.
Very nice. And then we're all going to go over Michelle's house and have a sauerkraut party.
Sauerkraut parties are the best. Stress relief. You just got to slam that stuff into the jar.
Now you're talking. I agree with Michelle here. I'm a big fan of getting your probiotics from food sources rather than from supplements. I like kimchi, sauerkraut, pickles, yogurt, kefir, and sourdough bread. Yes. Sourdough bread can be considered a probiotic, but it's also considered a prebiotic because it's rich in inulin that feeds the bacteria in the gut. So like Lisa said, you got to be careful what you're taking, because if you have an overgrowth of one type of bacteria, you're going to have problems. And I'm going to go one step further and say that our obsession with taking something like a daily probiotic without rotating the strains of bacteria is going to contribute to that overgrowth of bacteria, especially if you're not eating seasonally and locally, which Michelle talked about, the difference between the Rio de Janeiro fermented vegetables as opposed to the fermented vegetables that she's preparing in her kitchen, which she's going to share with all of us. So the more diverse your gut flora, the healthier your immune system, right? So this is our trillions of microbiome of all the microorganisms. So when you eat seasonally, you're rotating the foods that are going into your gut to feed the various populations of bacteria. So if you only eat broccoli or kale, which are very healthy, right, then you're only feeding one type of bacteria. We need a wide variety of foods that change with the seasons to feed our diverse microflora and be healthy. And one last note. When I have clients that cannot stop thinking, right? The ones that overthink and think and think and think and they can't stop, I tell them to stop taking probiotics, because the gut and the mind are intimately connected. We know today, that they're making the gut-mind connection, but the ancients knew that your small intestine and your mind, the same thing is going on. If your gut is not working well, your mind is going to be overactive. So, if you're overthinking, then you may have an overgrowth in the gut as well, right? So you stop taking the probiotics, chill out, have a piece of bread, smeared with sauerkraut.
Sounds good.
I am so excited because I started getting these boxes of misfit vegetables. Have you guys heard about this?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like they're kind of like ugly vegetables, but they're not that ugly. Anyway, I just got mine yesterday and there's this giant cabbage and I'm thinking, I know what I'm doing this weekend. So I need that recipe. I've never made my own sauerkraut. I'm super, super excited. It's
Oh, it's
amazing.
so easy. It's ridiculous.
The things I learned on the Healthy View, it's just unbelievable. So thanks for all of you joining us today. We want to make sure that you don't miss an episode of the Healthy View because there is so much to learn in so little time. So please subscribe on iTunes. In fact, if you're over there, we would really appreciate a review so that we can help spread the word. We really appreciate all of your reviews, and especially today, I'd like to highlight one from Jay Borselli, who said, "Love listening to these ladies. They make healthy living so entertaining and fun. And I always learn something new, which is definitely the added bonus. My favorite episodes are often the ones that I wasn't sure that I'd even like." Don't miss these. So thank you, Jay Borselli. And if you email us at info@healthyview, we'd like to send you a little gift. Just reference the probiotics episode. For everyone else, we'd like to see your reviews too, and please sign up at our mailing list at healthyviewshow.com. We just send one email a week letting you know about the next episode. That's all for today. We will see you next time.